right there. Well, no, I'm not pressed for that. I never pressed.
No, I know you were not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Oh, yeah.
just pass it on.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
just like,
How about that? I'll yell it.
because I know you understand.
I know I will understand. Black storytellers to the front. I have no chill. After this press conference, I'll be yelling at press later. Don't worry.
Thank you all for joining us. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Just as a guideline for any video that gets taken, we ask that our ASL interpreter stays in the frame. For anyone that wasn't able to make it onto the call, we're going to be live streaming from our Instagram.
Do you have any funds to help pay?
If you have any technical problems, you can send me a message. You can just send it to everyone in the call. And anyone who's being disruptive, racist, homophobic, transphobic will be removed from the call.
September 9th, armed Multnomah County Sheriff raided this home during a pandemic with the air toxic due to wildfires. Those police's energy could have been better spent helping the families across our state that were actively losing their homes at that time. But instead they were here, displacing the Kenny family from their home. For elected officials, for those who are here with us today, now is your chance to stand against pandemic profiteering and predatory lending systems, against the root causes of displacement. I'm one of two organizers you'll meet today. Because of some press not reaching out to us directly, we were forced to have this conference during a high-risk eviction blockade, both due to police brutalizing BIPOC members of this community and COVID. This is not a story about an autonomous zone. This is a story of systemic oppression.
Yes.
You are looking at an active gentrification before your own eyes. Across the nation, this is happening to families, and we refuse to stand by while our elected officials pretend to ignore and allow the police, who are paid to protect and serve us, continue to carry out evictions. In case anyone forgot, there is a current federal and state eviction moratorium with a spike in COVID cases across the nation. That said, I would like to introduce the matriarch of the Kinney family, Julie Metcalf Kinney.
The story. Sad, out of nowhere on September 9th, without notice, all I hear is banging on my door. Then I see there's 9 sheriffs standing outside, and next thing I know, they're kicking in the door with guns drawn. I had no idea what was going on. My family was there. My husband was asleep. We all were asleep, actually, and it was truly unfair for that to happen to my family. And why this is taking place, the people organically seeing the devastation that was taking place that day, and that's what happened. Was this people rallied, and Red Camp grew organically out of that situation and those vile tactics that were taken that day. And the story of this house is that it's historic. It's built in 1896, and my father-in-law purchased it in 1955. My husband had grown up here since he was 4 years old. My family then moved in 1983. And when my daughter was 4 years old, and then I had my sons here in this house, this neighborhood, my kids played ball here. They played hide and seek in the field that the camp is in. Many of the community members that were here then, all of their families have lost their homes over in this neighborhood. I sat on the Interstate Urban Renewal Committee for 20 years, basically from 1995, early 90s, 98, and they started to get ready to draw the new red line around this neighborhood. And the whole purpose of them doing it was to bring in the max line and get the federal funding to bring in the max line. And so on that committee, I expressed to the city councils, Multnomah County, all of the entities that were actually involved with creating this new redlining system, which is a reverse red line from what it was when my husband's father had bought the home here. And so I warned the city that they were doing that and that they were displacing family after family after family. I was in affordable housing development at the time, and so I let them know what they were doing to this community. And then all of a sudden, all the tactics were turned on my family. And then I ended up getting into a predatory loan in the early 2000s. And then, of course, the story is out there of how the banks came in and moved in on the home. So this is a devastating action that's taken. The sheriffs came in and devastated everything again. And the tactics that are used to do this is beyond despicable. And so I'd like my son to, I'd like to introduce my son, Michael Kenny, to tell some of what has taken place and occurred to us. I thank you and appreciate your time coming today. Thank you.
Hey, what time? Can someone tell me what the time is? 20. We got 20 minutes left on the Zoom call.
Hello, everybody. I'm Philo, youngest member of the Kingston. 5 a.m. yesterday morning, all I heard was banging at the door. In a rush to get all my stuff, I was approached by a gun to my face, saying, "Drop all my shit." Instantly was thrown in handcuffs and dragged to the jailhouse. In there, one of the native campers was there with no pants or no socks. I gave him my socks, I gave him my sweater so he wouldn't be cold. When I left, the place was surrounded by cops. And when I got back, the community surrounded the land, and the land was taken back.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
Came to find the place, they had shit in the toilet and then broke it. They had broken all the sinks. They broke the water heater. The cops did. It left my family in turmoil. But the people are here. And we're going to stop this gentrification. And we're going to reclaim the land.
That's right.
That's right.
Land back! 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 Land back!
Make no mistake that every action these colonizers have taken on this land is rooted in white supremacy. Make no mistake that gentrification is a brutal act of violence.
Yes.
The money that these developers seek to make off of displacing these Afro-Indigenous people is stained with blood. Blood of all of the ancestors that came before us, that were enslaved by yours. That is how you amass your generational wealth. We don't have that. We get a little bit and you take it. You make up predatory loans to trap Black and brown poverty so that they can never prosper, so that they can never have what you have. And you get the help of your police officers, your slave catchers, to enforce the protection of that property, your capital, your money. That's all this is really about, is money.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. They are willing to put these families out in the middle of the pandemic, susceptible to getting. They're putting them to death by taking their home away. This won't be the last family that they try to do this to. And it's definitely not the first. They've been doing this since the beginning of time. Right now is the time that we have to stand and protect our community. Yes. Right now is the time to stand and fight fascism.
Yes.
That is fascism.
Yes.
When they come in the night and they take away your home and they put you out in the street, that's fucking fascism. It is the people's responsibility to rise and fight it. You have to come out here and support the Kinney family. Help us occupy this land. Help us do this so that we can protect other families that they're going to do this to. They will target other Black and brown families.
Can I open the door?
Because of the anti-Blackness that exists within this fucking system.
Oh, okay.
This entire system
Number
is
one,
based
there's
on
a
white
Zoom
supremacy.
press conference going on
And
outside of the
capitalism
Red House
can't
right now.
exist
That's where I'm
without
listening to. I
slavery.
can send you the link if you want.
We
And
have
then number
to
two, I
start
have your
anew.
eraser.
And this is how we
Come
do it.
downstairs.
By protecting our
I was
community.
just letting you know, do
By
you mind that
providing
I'm
the
using it?
resources outside of the
Okay,
system
cool.
so that we no longer need
All
them
right.
and that they can no longer control us.
I can send you the link on.
Ricky. Mute.
Stand with the Kinney family. Stand for Black liberation. Stand for Indigenous sovereignty. Stand for Red House sovereignty. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina.
Hi, everybody. I'm the eldest son, heir apparent of this house, this historic home. My name is William X. Nietzsche. What has happened is inhumane, unjust, and should never happen again. This is generational displacement. It happened with bloodlines from my indigenous roots, from colonial displacement to reservations, and now we have gentrification. It's the same scheme, just a different word, different day. But I appreciate all the community support. This is organic. This is true community. This is not a typical foreclosure case at all. This is a David and Goliath fight. My grandfather purchased this house in 1955 because he was redlined out of a loan. We're just a small family seeking to defend our home against big banks and developers. My parents were preyed upon by some of the same predatory practices that led to the 2008 financial crash. We did not receive due process or jury trial or even proper notice of eviction. We never got a day in court. We've been bullied by courts who have failed to follow their own procedure. This time I want to open up for 5 questions related to what's going on here. Thank you for your time and for coming out.
Thank you. I'm with KBW. Can I ask one? What do you have to say to the mayor after what he said last night?
We need executive intervention for what has took place. This has crossed the threshold to a crime against humanity. There's no qualified immunity or Nuremberg defense for the crimes that have took place here.
What do you see as the end game?
I'm looking for a peaceful diplomatic resolution to what has took place. This is unceded territory, and we are Aboriginal indigenous to this territory.
Say you haven't had your day in court, but there has been a judge's ruling against your family. Talk about that and talk about the loan that you call predatory loans. Talk about what happened there and why you went sideways.
Yeah, so the purported federal judge, Michael Simon, in this case, acted ultra buyers with Scienter, rampant mortgage securities fraud committed leading up to the 2008 financial crash. I motioned to join Michael H. Simon to our complaint, and he acted as a law unto himself and said we couldn't join him. And we had every reason to join him for his trespass on our case.
What can the legal system, what can lawyers, what can organizations do to save the Red House, Mississippi?
Quit making settlements with big banks and developers trying to cover up the fraud. We dealt with numerous attorneys and lawyers in this particular jurisdiction, and we just recently discovered that there was a hush-hush agreement regarding one of the same defendants case, and that defendant is Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems, which I'm sure everybody knows about.
You do now. You do now.
We are in between relatives and hotels, and me and my brother have been maintaining our adverse possession over our home.
You've been staying here.
Thank you. Please follow the Red House on Mississippi. Donate to our GoFundMe. Show up at this house. Stand ground.
Visit redhouseonmississippi.com for particulars. You can also get Rory filed with the U.S. Supreme Court that is pending. Case number is 20-703.
Are you encouraged by the GoFundMe contribution system?
Support. We have backup strategies in case to buy off or make an offer for our home back, because they got away with an unfair value of $260,000, and this particular piece next to us is valued at $10.4 million. So they need to come correct.
Damn.
Speak that shit,
That concludes this conference. We're about to.
No.
Please, that's it.
No, that's it.
It's a wrap.
This is our time. Thank you, sir.